Hey, sometimes when we talk about the culture of your school, there's something very telling that happens from time to time when a parent meeting is going to happen. And it's all in the way that the parent comes to the school and gets ready for the meeting. Now, you have to get ready for the meeting too. And you might run into these strategies that parents come up with in order to deal with the fact that they think this is going to be not a fun meeting, that they think it's going to be angst-ridden, that they think it's going to be just a nightmare, and so because you're not going to listen to them. That's a big part of it. And so they come in, and here's 4 different strategies that a lot of times you'll find parents use. One of them is the bully, all right? What that simply means is that the parent comes in just yelling and screaming. And if you yell back, it just makes it worse. But that's one way. They come in and they believe they're not going to be listened to, so what do? They just start yelling and screaming. And, that's not good. Another way they come in, another way they strategize because they don't think you're going to listen to them, is they deny everything. Even if you're showing them that this is their kid's work with their kid's name on it, they may deny it. And if nothing else, it's just going to frustrate you to no end as the kid's teacher, because this is what their child did. If it was in the classroom, you saw them throw the pencil. You saw the kid do whatever it is from day in, day out, they're late to class. They deny it. No, it's not my kid. It's not my kid's fault. That's going to drive you nuts. Well, that's another sign that, this is a strategy that they use because they don't think you're going to listen to them. The next strategy that you might have a parent use with you is one of my all-time favorites, which is they show up with a bunch of friends and family members to bombard you with a whole bunch of people that supposedly have something to say about this. In which case, really at that point, you probably need to get an administrator to come help you, or a counselor or somebody, or the teacher next door. But because the answer to that is, no, I really only need to meet with the parent of, let's say, Steve. All right, and we're going to go inside because even though I appreciate all of you joining me here, the only person who has a reason to be in there is the parent and the child. So, just say no. But that's another one that's going to tell you that your culture's bad, because they're thinking about, you're not going to listen to them, so I'm going to show up and I'm going to make you listen because I'm going to show up with all my family members. The last one is one of my all-time favorites, which is the tag team. And this appears in different ways. And one of the ways that it appears is both parents show up and they're ready to talk with you. And as you give them a chance to get started, thinking that's the right thing to do, which it is, by the way, the one parent proceeds to say everything they want to tell you that's wrong with the way their child was treated, or just, kind of lambasting you with everything that's going on. And then they take a breath, and then the other parent joins in, kind of like a wrestling team, tag team, right? Oh, now it's your turn. All right, you go. Yeah, that's an interesting strategy. Another strategy is the tag team that happens a day after the other one, which means that you get visited by good cop, bad cop first, and then the good cop or bad cop shows up the next day. So a lot of times, whichever one plays that role, you might get visited by the mom on the first day, and you have that meeting and you think it's over with. Well, no, because the next day then you find out that the father has shown up, or reverse that. There's different ways that it appears. But my all-time favorite one is that good cop, bad cop one, especially when they tag team during the middle of the meeting. So this, if parents are doing this type of stuff, that means that they don't feel like you're going to listen to them. So how do you deal with this? Well, the first thing you do is send the message that you're going to listen. That's the number one thing you got to do, because they're doing this because they don't think you're going to listen. Now, the other reason why they're doing this is not only are they afraid that you won't listen, they're also worried that they don't see any solutions, that all you're going to do is tell them what you think. Well, instead, when you listen, come up with suggestions, ideas about how we can work through this, or, if this is what's going on, here's some solutions to it. And that's so important, because if you have solutions, if you come up with ideas, then you kind of take away the thought that you're not really listening. It shows that you're listening to them and you've come up with some ideas about how we can do this. One of my favorite is one time I had a parent tell me, please don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I said, I'm not going to. Let's talk about some potential ways of solving this. And they were extremely happy. So, the first thing I want to tell you is that if you're going to have this type of meeting where the parents come in with these strategies, they're strategizing like this, what you want to do is you want to listen to them and you want to come prepared with some suggestions or ideas on how we can work through this. Food for thought.